So, shooter games. Aside from like 2 games of Fortnite, the ones I've played are the Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare / Battle for Neighborville and Splatoon. With Splatoon 3 now out, I wanted to compare both Splatoon 3 and Battle for Neighborville, as they are both a third entry, but people's opinions on them are quite different. Of course, Splatoon 3 has been out for like a month at the time of this now, and Battle for Neighborville came out in 2019, so certain topics may be short for Splatoon 3, but long for Battle for Neighborville. Battle for Neighborville was released on the day of its announcement. There really wasn't any time to get excited about it, and even with that, it wasn't complete yet. While Splatoon 3 will be getting more items from release, nothing important was not there. Overall, Battle for Neighborville should have been released at a later date, although the game was at least $30 instead of $40 if you got it at that time. Splatoon 3 was announced at the end of a Nintendo Direct a year before the release, and a 30-minute Splatoon Direct happened when the game was to release soon, revealing a lot about how the game would work. While more versions of weapons will be added and more maps, we have base versions for older weapons and the new weapons, and there's still 12 maps to play. There's still a good amount of gear as well. It was announced, got a lot of people excited about it. It already has like a ton of copies sold. Battle for Neighborville gets a new look during holidays like Halloween and Valentine's Day, as well as a prize map that I believe depends on the month. These prize maps use bulbs that you get by doing quests and leveling up characters. These are hard to finish without paying for bulbs, as they are pretty long and each item is bought with just bulbs. Although you get a customization for finishing it and are getting items each level up. When reaching level 4, you're able to visit Hall Atlantis, and it gives you a catalog. The catalog levels up when you play in the lobby and Salmon Run. Each time you level it up, you get an item. The catalog goes up to level 100 with normal items, and then after that you get a mystery box every 10 levels. It also resets every couple months, I believe around 3, as the current and first is over at the end of November. These are pretty easy to level up and don't need a ton of XP to level up on later levels, maxing out at 10,000 experience per level. You also get a bonus 7,500 experience for your first win each day. The Splatoon series also has a tradition called Splatfest, where you pick a team, 2 in the older games and 3 now. You only play Turf War, which I'll cover later, but in Splatoon 3, Tricolor Turf War start where the winning team at the halfway mark is in the middle on a team of 4, and the other teams have 2 per team, and are trying to collect a central point. These aren't required, but help. To win is the same as Turf War. These Splatfests happen every month until the final one, and last 24 or 48 hours. Battle for Neighborville has 3 single-player areas: Mound City for plants, Reading Woods for zombies, and Town Center for with a planned zombie side. They all have some problem happening. You do a quest to figure out what to do, then you do 3 quests in whatever order to get items, and you use the items to fight a boss. These single-player sections are very fun to play. Some would say they're better than the multiplayer modes, and I kind of agree. The storylines of single-player is to stop Old School from making plants dance in Town Center plants, zombies being turned unzombie in Town Center zombies, stopping cheese from exploding over Neighborville and Mount Steep, and saving Dummy and the forest and Jedwood in Weird Woods. The bosses of the world are pretty creative. I'd say Mount Steep's boss, Major Problem, is my favorite, and Town Center zombies, Blake Clap is my least favorite. Another thing about these is that they aren't necessarily single player. You can have a group of up to 4 and play together, which is cool since you couldn't in previous games, even locally. Splatoon 3 brings you to Alterna. I'll keep this short with only minor details to not spoil anything. Although Alterna is very fun, it takes up the Octo expansion but easier. You can use Small Fry and Alterna and upgrade your gear, which is basically required. The gear only matters if you use your hero gear in a level, but attempting the second boss without upgrading made it incredibly difficult, and it was way easier than I shredded again with the upgrades. Just a little tip of why you should. The main characters are the classes that you play as, which I'll cover later. However, this game has more characters than Crazy Dave and Dr. Zomboss. Each single player mode has different characters, and there's some NPCs around the hubs. And there's a plant and zombie character that takes the lead instead of Dave or Zomboss in Battle Arena. One thing about the classes, though, is that they have a lot more personality in this game, with the unique running animations and the animations that play in the character booth. Splatoon 3 has actual characters that people love, being the idols and shopkeepers. The idols of this game are deep cut, being 3 members instead of 2, and as the first male idol. The idols are Shiver, Fry, and Big Man. The news gives them a lot of personality, as well as them doing Splatfest with the dancing and songs. They can also show up a bit more, to really finalize them as characters. The other new characters are Gnarly Eddie, the Hat Shopkeeper, Gel Fleur, something like that, Sun Clothing, Mr. Coco having shoes, Harmony staying at Atlantis, and Marigold the food seller, recon guide, and running table turf. Old characters also return. Sheldon still selling weapons as the first game, Merch doing the same as in Splatoon 2, and kind of running the Splatnet shop on the app. The old idols from Splatoon 1 return Callie and Marie, or 1 and 2, the old Captain Cuttlefish, as well as the old Agent 3, now Captain 3, return on single player. Splatoon 2's idols are going to return in the future DLC, Pearl Marina, and hopefully, but not confirmed, Agent 4 and Agent return as well, also from Splatoon 2. Battle for Neighborville has some amazing cosmetics. Too bad they're pretty difficult to get. The reward Otron gives you a single item for 30,000 coins, or you can use Rainbow Stars to buy some of the best cosmetics from racks. However, Rainbow Stars aren't easy to collect, and you need a lot of them. Most ones you get from racks are very cool. Actually, if a Derivate for Snapdragon, these will give cosmetic, and you can select to change looks that aren't usually customizable. Splatoon 3 has customizations for your character and also gear. The customizations have be an Inkling or Octoling. Octoling now playable at the start, unlike their introduction in Splatoon 2 by being the Octo expansion. You can also have a feminine or masculine body and eyebrows, since there aren't genders now, and the hairstyles aren't gender specific. You can select your eye color, eyebrow style, pants, and hairstyle, as well as your little buddy's hairstyle. There are 3 types of gear that you buy from the shops, being hats/glasses, clothes, being shirts, and your shoes. Gear also have abilities that will give you special effects that people spend a lot of time trying to perfect them, but it's not required. I know that Battle for Neighborville is no longer getting updates, while Splatoon 3 is still a new game. However, BFN was getting updates quite a bit while it was new. When it first came out, the game barely had anything, but was getting updates pretty often, adding more things, which made Battle for Neighborville not feel like a completed game in its release, as it's not the first PvZ shooter, it's the third. Although the game did get some new updates over time, not super often, but it got updates. The biggest things that were added is the new classes. The Wizard, who had an early release in a prize map, and then came later in rocks for 500,000 Rainbow Stars. A later update also added a new plant and zombie, being the Wildflower and TV Head, coming out at the same time and working almost the same, also for 500,000 Rainbow Stars. I think there should have been another plant to come out since the sides are now unbalanced, and there's a lot of plants that could potentially be playable in Battle for Neighborville, like Melon Put, Lightning Reed, Nightshade, Dusklobber, or Red Stinger. Splatoon 3 is going to be consistently getting updates for 2 years, which works well as no modes are missing, there's still a lot of gear in the game currently, and we have at least most base versions of weapons, while we'll get new ones with different subs and specials in the future, making nothing feel missing, but it will still be getting updated with new items on a consistent basis. We're also getting a DLC in the future that is exciting. And I wonder what it's going to be like since the normal single player mode is inspired more by the Octo expansion rather than the base story modes. Battle for Neighborville has Giddy Park, Dave Manor, and Zomboss HQ. Dave Manor and Zomboss HQ are bases for the plants and zombies respectively. They both have Rex's shop and the Rewardotron where you get items. The single player areas are in a spot, the two next to each other. The multiplayer portal is also next to the exit to Giddy Park, and a character booth and team swap also there. They're also around the spawn area of the base. They're all around the spawn area of the bases. Further into the bases are one mini game, a target range, promotion area, a place to get experience with money, and an area to customize your victory slab. Both bases are a bit different from each other, but the only difference, important difference at least, is the mini game. You can exit the bases and be shot into Giddy Park. Giddy Park is kind of fun to explore. There isn't much to find though. It's mostly remembered for being a place to fight others, since you can play with others online, or with bots that only wildflowers for plants and TV heads for zombies. I'll know why it's not the basics like Garden Warfare 2 or all the classes. You can also break targets. Golden ones give you a bit of money. Ride certain coins and find treasure chests. Welcome to Splatsville, the biggest hub area so far in Splatoon, and isn't just a basic area. To help you get around quicker, there's a menu that fast travels you to buildings. You spawn in a square with stairs in front of you leading to the lobby and merch right next to it, with Grisco and the Shoal to the right, and Deep Cut to the left. Left of the square is a grate that brings you to single player. The Amiibo scan and recon guide are behind the square. The shops are to the right of the square, the only other way to go. There's a lot of space that doesn't have anything important, just posts from people. Although, the biggest problem is with Table Turf Battles, which is behind Grisco and the Shoal, but doesn't have a fast travel. However, if you just walk around, you'll find it, as Splatsville is only one path. The weapons in Battle for Neighborville are the classes. Each class falls into a category of attack, defense, or support, with Wildflower and TV Head being a new category called Swarm. The attack plants are Pea Shooter, doing splash damage with peas, Chomper, being able to eat zombies and attack close range, Colonel Corn having rapid fire shots, quickly vanquishing zombies, Snapdragon, similar to Chomper but does fire damage and can't eat zombies, and Nightcap, being able to do damage to zombies while avoiding a close-up fight. The defense plants are Cactus, being able to do rapid fire up close and do a ton of damage from farther away, Citron, having high health and can protect other plants, and Acorn and Oak, which feels more like an attack plant, Acorn being weak but can turn to Oak doing major damage. The only defense is that Oak gets stronger with other acorns and can be healed by them. The support plants are Sunflower, a healer, and Rose, being able to debuff zombies. The attack zombies are Foot Soldier, being able to do a rapid shots, Imp, similar to Acorn and Oak, with the Imp summoning a Z-Mech, but leans more on an offensive side rather than defensive. Super Brains, doing a lot of damage close range, Electric side, shooting electricity that does chain damage, and an 80s action hero having arrows that can combine. The defensive zombies are All-Star, having high health and a shield, Captain Deadbeard, same as Cactus, and Space Cadet, combined with others for more power. The support zombies are Scientist, a zombie healer, Engineer that can boost zombies and stun plants, Wizard, again boosting zombies. The Swarm classes being Wildflower and TV Head that get boosted with other Wildflowers or TV Heads. They can also make a Dandelion or Yeti Imp that can blow up damaging plants or zombies. Splatoon 3 has main classes with other weapons that can make changes and versions of each weapon with a different kit. The shooter weapons being basic weapons shooting ink. Rollers can roll on the ground and crush and be swung at enemies. Chargers have long range and can snipe enemies. Slashers are buckets that can go over walls in a short range. Brushes do less damage than rollers and are thinner but go faster. Splatlinks have longer range but need to be charged up. Blasters have small splash damage and do a ton of damage with small range. Dualies have 2 weapons and can do a dodge roll. Umbrellas can make a shield while shooting, and the new weapon classes to Splatoon 3 are the Stringers that are bows, having open shots normally and stronger shots while jumping, and the Splatana, a sword-like weapon that can charge at enemies and shoot waves of ink. All the main modes are returning from Garden Warfare 2, being Team Vanquish, where you win by your team getting 50 vanquishes, revised takeaway point. Turf Takeover, we need to either take over a spot or push something for the first 3 sections, and the final section is different for each map. Vanquish Confirmed is Team Vanquish, but an orb falls when someone is vanquished. You'll grab the other team 50 times to win, but you can grab your team's orb. Gnome Bomb, where you grab gnome bombs to blow up the other team's garden or grave. The final main mode is Suburbanation, where all 3 points in the map, there are 3 points in the map, you take over to win. Getting more if you have all 3. Of all the modes, they all have the same maps for takeover since it works differently than the others. If you want to play Vanquish Confirmed, Suburbanation, or Gnome Bomb, you do private play since they aren't very popular and you usually won't play with anyone anyways. Splatoon 3 has 2 types of battles, regular battle and anarchy battle, previously called ranked battles. Regular battles are always turf war. In turf war, you need to ink the ground, and the team with the most ground inked wins. Any weapon works in this mode, but especially ones that ink well. For anarchy battle, you can do series or open, and you have a rank. In open, you can play with friends, and you don't lose or gain many points for your rank. Series will end when you lose 3 times or win 5 times, and you will get a lot more points, but can't play with friends. Anarchy battles have 4 modes. Both versions have their own mode schedule. Tower control makes you add a tower to the goal at the other team's base. Blasters work well in this mode and how I play. Rainmaker has you grab the Rainmaker, replacing your weapon completely and bringing it to the goal. Splatoon 3 has added checkpoints, probably to make the mode last longer. Any weapon works well in this mode. Flat Zones has 1 or 2 zones in the middle of the map. You need to ink most of it to take control, and if there's 2, you need to take control of both. Weapons that work well in turf war work well here. The final mode is Clam Blitz. You collect clams, having 10 turns them into a power clam. Power clams can break the other team's basket, and you have to throw normal clams into it. Ink brushes are good in this mode since you can move fast. Battle for Neighborville has 2 side modes, the returning Ops mode and the new Battle Arena. In Battle Arena, it's a 4 versus 4 match where you need to have everyone on the other team vanquished to win. You get a point for winning a round, and win the game when you get 4 wins. If the round lasts too long, a zone in the middle is made, and you capture it like in Suburbanation, which wins you the match. You select a character before each round, having 15 seconds to do so, and when you play around with the character, it locks and you can't play as them for the rest of the game. There are 2 versions of Ops, Garden Ops and Graveyard Ops, just depending on if you play as plants or zombies. You make a garden or grave and need to defend it, having waves of plants or zombies and ending with a boss, having 5 waves, half the amount of older games. These bosses can also be elite, where they rank like the bosses in aggressive single player, and not the final ones, and hunts in Garden Warfare 2. Splatoon 3 only has one side mode, Salmon Run. When you go to Grisco, you are hired to collect golden eggs from salmonids, unlike the lobby where it's mostly a test area. Yeah, to the left of the main room is the training area on Grisco. There's a golden egg spawner, dummies that have the health of salmonids, and you can change your weapon to one of the current weapon choices. As each reset, the weapons change. There are 4 in total. Each wave, each person randomly gets one of the weapons. However, there can be randomized weapons where you use the spotter shot in the testing range, and you can get the special Grisco weapons. Splatoon 2, we had 4, and got another in Splatoon 3 for the stringer. As of now, we've only had one randomized salmon run, and the only Grisco weapon playable is the new Grisco Stinger. In Salmon Run, you are in a team of 4. You defend yourself against salmonids, having a basic one, weak but fast, and tough but slow salmonid. These only drop power eggs, not golden eggs. The golden eggs play into the waves. There are 3 waves that are 100 seconds each. Your drawbreak determines who you get matched up with, and the quota of golden eggs, as each wave makes you grab at least the same amount of eggs. If you fail the quota or everyone is dead at a time, you fail. When you get splatted, you turn to a life ring that can move and collect golden eggs, but you can't put them into the basket. If a teammate inks you, you are revived. Golden eggs are dropped from bosses, 3 for each boss, but there's certain ways that will do something special and won't always have the normal bosses. I'll keep these as a secret, but I'll talk about the normal bosses. The returning bosses are the Steelhead. It attacks with a bomb and you can only damage it while it's on its head. The Flyfish shoots 10 missiles, throws bombs in its jet to defeat it. The Scrapper rides around and when inked will be stunned. Shoot behind it to defeat it. The Steel Eel is long with a lot of ink. You need to kill the salmon in the back. The Stinger has a Stingray special from Splatoon 2. You ink it to defeat it. The Moz will come up when someone is above it, does splat bomb in its mouth. The Drizzler will hide under an umbrella, making ink storms. When it is revealed, ink it. The new enemies are the Fish Stick, a bunch of small fries on the top of a stick in the ground. The Flipper Flopper that creates an ink ring. If you ink in the ring, it will be defeated. The Big Shot shoots out cannonballs from a launcher that act like the wave breaker. The launcher stays for the wave and you can shoot golden eggs from it. The final boss is the Slammin' Lid. It summons salmonids and slams down if you walk below it, letting you splat the salmon on top. Now let's get back to Grisco. Wait, what does this mean? Oh no. Kohozuna, a king salmonid. Time for an emergency extra wave. After the 3rd wave, Kohozuna cannot beat her. He is gigantic and has a ton of health. Instead of using golden eggs to put in a basket, you collect golden eggs and use your new egg launcher to shoot golden eggs at him, doing great damage. Kohozuna can only do a splashdown, but his huge size, time limit, and other salmonids make this difficult to complete. Power eggs and golden egg amount turn into points to rank up and collect rewards. Grisco has exclusive gear you can collect, and you get scales from King Salmons that you can spend on items, banners, and different colored suits. Why are the opinions of this game so different? With BFN being said to be pretty bad in the community and Splatoon 3 already being incredibly popular. Well, for one, Splatoon 3 made people excited for the game. Battle for Neighborville released at the same time as the trailer. Splatoon 3 also continues what was so good with the previous 2, while Battle for Neighborville changes a ton about the game, including what was so special about the previous games, the variants. I also have to agree that Battle for Neighborville is the weakest in the series, and Splatoon 3 seems that it will be the strongest.